He snapped out of the stupor that still held Adit mesmerized and threw Adit him. "Run!" he screamed, trying to reach behind him to grab his brother. Noor lifted a startled face up to him, the long burnt gold curls gleaming in the soft evening light, and promptly squirmed away, trotting off towards the bridge, shrieking in delight. Akshat swore and raced to catch her up, screaming silently again and again with all the mental strength he could summon. "Run, Adit, for God's sake, run!" But it was as if his brother had been petrified, turned into stone by the terrible malevolence of the thing that touched his face with its foul slime. "Leave him alone, you blood-sucking vile!" Akshat ran back, ducking Noor's head into his shoulder in a desperate attempt to shield her. He grabbed Adit's frozen arm as the entire hideous body slithered forward and lunged at him. It was now one long, lumpy tube with an enormous, cavernous mouth that opened before them, the stinking drool running like bars from the top to the bottom. The foul breath engulfed them both, and Akshat fought to breathe. Wrapping his free arm around Adit's rigid body, he tried frantically to pull him away, but it was like trying to move a stone pillar. Teeth clenched, sweat pouring off his forehead into his eyes, Akshat dug in his heels and pulled with all his might. Adit's body stood as immovable as a young tree, roots burrowed deep into the earth. Distraught, Akshat tried reaching into his brother's mind. There was nothing. His mind, so accustomed for the last few months to melding and merging with that of his twins, shrank back in horror at the emptiness it touched. The gargantuan, you know what gargantuan means? Huge. The gargantuan mouth moved as if trying to form words, and Akshat felt, rather than heard, the rasping hoarse words. "His mind is no longer here. Surrender to me. I will save you the sight of your beloved brother being devoured. I will have you both." Staggering, distracted with despair, Akshat wrapped his arms tighter around the stone-like body, digging his feet in and pulling silently, determinedly, feeling his mind reel under the malignant onslaught. The mouth yawned wider, and the thing seemed to turn to him. There was a sound as of slime being sucked in, and immediately a dizziness and nausea filled Akshat. Stumbling, he caught Noor just as she was about to slip out of his arms, but almost immediately she began sliding down again. It was as if the life was being sucked out of him, and Akshat felt his grip slip about both Noor and Adit. His eyes rolled back in his head, and just as he was about to pitch backwards, he heard the malevolent rasp again. "And the little one too. Ah, that will be a dainty morsel. Ah." Something snapped in Akshat's mind. With an effort almost superhuman, he forced his legs to stop trembling, his arms to grab his brother and tiny cousin with strength that he summoned from God alone knew where, stilled his mind and opened his eyes. "Not today, you big ugly beast. Not now, not here, not ever. Do you understand?" His voice was even quiet, but the words came from a depth of spirit and courage and certainty he didn't know he had. With each syllable he pulled himself straighter, punctuating each word with a step forward. For all the conviction in his voice, even Akshat was astounded to see the thing actually retreat a few paces. For just a breath it seemed to watch him, surprised. But there was no time for surprise or disbelief. Like one possessed, Akshat took his arm from around Adit and reached towards the pendulous jaws. "I will reach in and I will crush your miserable little soul," he said with the same calm fierceness. "You try to stop me, you filthy slug," and he pushed his arms through the bars of drool right into the thing's mouth. "Akshat!" He swung about at the shout, the ropey saliva flying from his arm in thick sluggish arcs. But as he moved, in a heart-stopping slow motion, to focus on the unbelievable source of the voice, he saw, just at the periphery of vision, the revolting thing lunged forward, and Adit's stiff body tumbled into the black jaw that closed upon it with a sickening crack. The scream died in Akshat's throat as he felt himself falling, being sucked into the horrible dark void of the drooling chops. Before his eyes closed, he felt himself wrenched backwards. His eyes snapped up to see his grandfather, towering above him, between him and the thing. With all the strength he could muster, he raised his hand feebly towards him. "Nana, No, he whispered, but his grandfather was not listening. No, I'm getting scared.
Okay, so if you want to know what happens, does he eat Akshata, you'll have to read the rest of the book. Does anyone know who Raja Harish Chandra was? Who was he?
Harish Chandra was a very kind man.
Uh-huh.
He freedom fighter. But
Okay, what about the girl in the blue in the back? Yes? What? An orator. Yes? That's right. That's right. What else?
Ma'am, he also used to take care of the people in senior places. Ma'am, he used to see if they had any other things of any problem. He would just try to help them in any way.
I see. And what else?
He always says that.
That's right. Give the boy a chocolate. He always told the truth. No matter what happened, he always told the truth, and he was a very good king. So in this book, the name of the grandfather of these children is Harish Chandra. And he's the grandfather. So when these children start getting all their magic powers, they go to their grandfather and they say, what's happening to us? Now suppose suddenly you could start hearing things that other people were hearing. Wouldn't you go to your parents or to your grandparents and say, what's happening? Should I go to a doctor? How come I can see what my brother is seeing? Am I going crazy? Right? So they go to their grandfather. It turns out that Vasuki has given their grandfather some things to keep. And if you want to know what those are, you'll have to read the book. So the next bit that I'm going to read out has to do with teeth. You know, because there's the Fang of summoning, right? How many children have lost some teeth yet? Everybody must have lost some teeth, right? All of them have fallen. All have grown back. Wow.
No, all were milky.
They were all milk teeth and they've fallen out and the others have come back, right? And the permanent teeth have come back. Who takes your teeth away? Do you keep them in a little purse? The tooth fairy. The tooth fairy takes your teeth, right?
Dr. Rabbit.
The Dr. Rabbit could also take your teeth, that's true. Yes.
Mouse.
The mouse takes your teeth. Goodness.
You are surrounded in the
Goodness. Well, what does the tooth fairy look like? What?
No wings. He was actually a tooth who had a legs, who had hands, and who had wings.
That could be, yes.
But the tooth fairy always takes
Uh-huh.
gold coins.
And leaves a gold coin. Did you get gold coins?
Yeah.
Yeah, or leave some money. No. Who told you that? You don't believe in the tooth fairy? That's terrible. You believe in the tooth fairy? Did the tooth fairy give you money?
The tooth fairy is Dr. Rabbit's pet.
Are you sure that the Dr. Rabbit is not the tooth fairy's pet?
Yeah.
Could be. Could be.
The doctor doesn't mean anything. Still a
Do you leave refreshments and snacks for the tooth fairy with your tooth?
Yes.
Yeah, she works very hard, right? She goes on collecting teeth. It's always nice to leave her
I leave
something.
a lemon.
A lemon. Maybe if you left her some water and sugar, she could have lemonade, right? That would be fun. Okay, so the next reading is about the tooth fairy. Now, there are 6 children, right? And the 2 older boys are called? That's right. And the littlest girl is called? Noor. Now there's 3 children in the middle. And the next 2 are called Amar and Ananya. Amar is 13 and Ananya is 9. They're brother and sister. And so Amar and Ananya are writing tooth fairy letters to each other. Ananya is 9 years old, so she's losing her teeth and the teeth are coming in. And every time she loses a tooth, she puts a letter for the tooth fairy. And you know what her big brother does? He picks up the letter, he reads it, and then he writes a reply. Is it a nice reply, do you think?
No.
He writes mean letters to her. He says, if you don't leave me better snacks, I'm going to drink up your blood instead. I love blood. brother? The grandfather? Who's Fairy's grandfather? Don't give the story away. It could be her son. It could be her cook. What do you think? Let's see.
Her father. Her grandfather.
Alright, let's see. He darted through the small and stood to the side. Their host appeared suddenly before them and struck a pose. Ta-da! He announced and flipped a switch. Grandfather allowed himself a small smile. Through each window there appeared the most stunning sunset, the luminous colors spreading expansively. Simha regarded her gravely. Yes, Ananya, we are. How come you think there are mountains and so on in the middle of Delhi? Has anyone been to Delhi?
Yes, ma'am, there.
Yes?
Ma'am, there.
Are there mountains in the middle of Delhi?
No.
Ma'am, yes.
The window is displayed in such that it looks as if the north wings of Jammu and Kashmir seem very close.
That could be it, but in the middle of lots of houses in Delhi, it's unlikely, and Ananya wants to know what's going
I
on.
think the view of the window might be separated.
Are we in the middle of a congested lane in Greater Kailash in the south of New Delhi, or are we not? Simha regarded her gravely. Yes, Ananya, we are. Ananya looked exasperated. Then what, I repeat, is all this? Simha sighed. Let us just say that this is all that I have left to me of a home that I am exiled from. What's exile? Does anyone know what exile is? When you're sent away from your home and you can never go back, right? I think that's extinct, but very good. A few minutes every day. I chose the sunset time, and that is what you see all about you. Harish Chandra finally broke his silence. You summon the children, Simha. Why? His voice sounded brusque, but Amar and Ananya felt an association of ages between them. The young man bowed, gestured to all of them to be seated around a small table, and went around the room drawing the curtains shut. He opened a small rectangular box. As you know, I am a collector of teeth, but more to the point, a collector of fangs. In the course of my travels, I have come across many strange and fascinating fangs, some from beasts long dead, some intriguing ones from those still living, and some from creatures believed to be dead. Here he paused longer. When such a one allows one of its fangs to be found by one of my trade, it is usually in times of pressing need. Okay, I'm going to skip all this. Simha smiled. He said, Harish Chandra spoke. Tell us more of what you have found. It is a fang? Whose? Where did you find it and how? Simha nodded. Yes, it is a fang, but it is more than that. He turned inquiring eyes to Harish Chandra. They know? Harish Chandra nodded. Simha said, I believe it is a fang of summoning.